What's up guys, Steve V here with another video, and today I want to talk about my favorite secondary title on my Arcade1Up machines. Now of course the marquee title is what mostly gets attention because that's what Arcade1Up based the cab off of as far as artwork and form factor, and usually it's the most well-known title and the title that they feel will sell the greatest. But whenever you buy an Arcade1Up machine, along with that marquee title, you get some great games to complement that main title, and to me it really adds a lot of value to an already great cab. So I wanted to give a little spotlight to what I consider my favorite secondary title on each one of my machines. So I'm going to start with my Marvel vs. Capcom machine. Now obviously Marvel vs. Capcom is the main reason I bought this machine, but you get some great games to complement that title. So you get Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes War of the Gem, and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. But definitely my favorite secondary title on this cabinet is Marvel Superheroes. And the reason that is because I used to have the Marvel Superhero cabinet, which I really loved. I really loved Punisher on that cabinet. But whenever I was done playing Punisher, I would play Marvel Superheroes, and I really enjoyed it. But I had to sell that cabinet for space. But when I ended up getting my Marvel vs. Capcom cab, I was really excited that they threw Marvel Superheroes on there so I can get it back in the mix. Really enjoyable game, and definitely a great secondary title to already give a great cabinet extra value to me. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you is my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cabinet. Now this one's pretty easy to pick what my favorite secondary title is because it only has two games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then you get Turtles in Time. Now Turtles in Time is a great game. With this cabinet only having two titles, both games are so great that really you do get your money's worth even with just two games. And Turtles in Time is a great reason why I feel like this cabinet is a must-have. Amazing game to play. I used to love playing it in the arcades, but I also loved playing it on the Super Nintendo. Just an amazing game, full of fun, and just a great scroll and beat 'em up. I love scroll and beat 'em ups, so definitely a game that I really enjoy playing on this cabinet. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you is my Outrun cabinet. So with the Outrun cab, you get 5 solid games. It came with 4, but you could do a firmware update to get an extra game. Now my favorite secondary title to play on this cabinet is Outrunners, and the reason that is because out of all the games on this cabinet, Outrunners is the only one I actually did play in the arcade. I didn't know that till I actually bought this cabinet. I was playing Outrunners, and then I saw the car menu screen where you have to pick your vehicle, and right away it hit me that I had played that game in the arcade. So for that reason, whenever I play this cabinet, I always do end up going to Outrunners at some point, and it does end up being my probably my second most played game on this cabinet, on an already great cabinet just with having Outrun. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you guys is my Midway Legacy cabinet, which is the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet. And this cabinet has 12 amazing games, probably one of the best game lists Arcade1Up has ever came out with on a cabinet. But what ends up being my most played game, secondary to the Mortal Kombat games, is definitely Root Beer Tapper. I love that game. I first played it on a Pandora's box, and it was fun. Even with Pandora boxes, they usually don't have the greatest controls, so it was a little difficult to play on that, but it was fun enough that I was like, if I ever get the opportunity to play this game again, I will definitely do that. And I was kind of hoping that Arcade1Up would actually come out with a Root Beer Tapper cabinet. But what ended up happening was they threw it on a Midway Legacy cab, and you know what? I'm fine with that too, because it's super fun to play on this cabinet, and it definitely is a game that after I do get my Mortal Kombat fix, I'm going to play some Root Beer Tapper. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you is the Street Fighter 2 Capcom Legacy cab. Again, just like with the Midway cabinet, it's got 12 solid games that really you can't beat. You can't beat. When the Big Blue came out, a lot of people were kind of telling me, oh, you know, why don't you switch to the Big Blue? Because that's what a lot of people were doing. But the reason I didn't do that was because of one game in particular, and that is my second most played game on this cabinet, and that's Final Fight. I got Ghouls and Ghosts playing now on the screen, but Final Fight is my favorite secondary title on this cab. And that's because I just love scroll and beat 'em ups, and this is a game that no matter how many times I play through and beat, it just never gets old. I just love playing it. You know, you can kind of relax your mind, just kind of go around, kick and punch and slam, you know, beat some bosses and just have a good time. Definitely a cabinet that I don't plan to sell ever, just because you can't get a better Capcom game list, in my opinion, than what is on the Capcom Legacy, and Final Fight is one of the main reasons for that. So the next cab I'm going to show you is my Frogger cab. So Frogger is probably one of my top favorite games to play, and the main reason I bought this cabinet. But a great game on this cabinet that definitely brings up the value to me, as far as just fun to play and very enjoyable, is Time Pilot 84. So this game gives you a little bit of everything. You get the chaos of just things coming at you from every direction. You got your little spaceship there that you can turn around and just shoot everything. Just a really fun game to play. I enjoy the original Time Pilot, but definitely Time Pilot 84 is my second most played game on this cabinet, next to Frogger. And in a cabinet that, you know, had a little controversy, and some people weren't really fond of buying because of, you know, the artwork being changed and the song being changed in the Frogger game. Honestly, I feel like Time Pilot 84 really brings up the value of this cab. It makes it a must-have cab, in my opinion. Definitely, if you never played this game, give it a shot. And you never know, maybe that might be enough to make you want to buy the Frogger cab. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you is my Miss Pac-Man cab. Now with Miss Pac-Man is one of my favorite games. It's right up there with Pac-Man. So I knew I was going to buy this cabinet for that reason, and also because of the artwork. It's my favorite arcade artwork. But another reason why I definitely knew I wanted to buy this cabinet was because it had Dig Dug on it. So around this time that this cabinet was coming out, there wasn't any 3/4 scale machines that had Dig Dug on it. And we were constantly telling Arcade1Up, please give us Dig Dug on something. We were kind of all hoping it would end up on the 40th anniversary Pac-Man cab. That didn't happen. So after, you know, constantly telling Arcade1Up that we wanted that game, they finally gave it to us on the Miss Pac-Man cabinet. And whenever I play the Miss Pac-Man cabinet, I mean, obviously Miss Pac-Man is what I go to, but whenever I feel like I need a little break, Dig Dug is a great game to kind of just give you another option of an amazing Namco title to play. I love, you know, blowing up the bad guys there with your pump and being chased by those dragons, and just a great game to play. And definitely another reason to get the Miss Pac-Man cabinet. It definitely brings up value having Dig Dug on it. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you is my Pac-Man cabinet, which is the Bandai Namco Legacy Edition cab. Being a big fan of Namco, I consider myself a Namco fanboy when it comes to the classic arcade games. I definitely knew I wanted to get this cabinet because it's got 12 amazing Namco titles. But the one title that I definitely go to every time I'm done playing Pac-Man is Galaga. Galaga is the second most played game on this cabinet for me. I have a lot of nostalgia for Galaga. I played Galaga as a kid on a cocktail cabinet, and I remembered that iconic song, as soon as I heard that song when I first bought an Arcade1Up cabinet that had Galaga on it, it just gave me chills, and it brought me right back to my youth. So when I sold my 40th anniversary Pac-Man cabinet, which that was my first cabinet with that title, getting the Bandai Namco Legacy Edition, I was so happy to see that it also had Galaga. And like I just said, as soon as I'm done playing Pac-Man, I'm gonna get some Galaga in and try to beat my high score. So the next cabinet I'm gonna show you is Burger Time. So Burger Time to me is mostly a one-game cabinet. I just kind of play Burger Time on this cab and don't really play too much of the other games. But when I do play a second game on this cab, it's usually Bad Dudes. Me being a fan of scroll and beat 'em ups, Bad Dudes is definitely the game that I'm gonna go to if I am a little bored of playing Burger Time. And it's a great game. It's a great game. It's one of those games where, obviously, since I have other scroll and beat 'em ups down here, like Turtles and Final Fight, I don't come to it often, and that's why, like I was telling you guys, Burger Time is really the only game I do play on this cab. But every now and then, if I feel like having a bit of a change, Bad Dudes is definitely a welcome change, and very fun, and it does add some value to this cabinet, as giving you a little something different than some of the other titles on this cab. I mean, Caveman Ninja is definitely a fun game as well. Karate Champ, I just can't seem to master, so I don't play very often. But Bad Dudes is definitely my most played game next to Burger Time on this cabinet. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you is Golden Tee. So with Golden Tee, you get 4 variations of Golden Tee that are all very similar. But other than Golden Tee Classic, which is the main game that I play, Golden Tee 2K is definitely the second most played game that I play on this cabinet. And really with the Golden Tee games, the only thing you really kind of get that's a change is just some of the courses. But all the games are pretty much the same. But just a very fun cabinet to play. It's one of my most played cabinets down here when people come over. My friends and family love it. And definitely Golden Tee 2K is the secondary game that I play the most on this cabinet. So the next cabinet I'm going to show you is Big Buck World. So with Big Buck World, I knew I wanted to have a shooter down here. And I didn't really know what game I was going to end up picking as my shooter. But when prices started going up, I kind of knew that whatever shooters were going to be coming out, they were probably going to be a little out of my price range. So I ended up deciding that I was just going to go with Big Buck World as my shooting cab. And I don't regret it because I do actually enjoy the game. And I do play Big Buck Hunter quite a bit on this cabinet. But probably my most second played game on this cabinet is definitely Big Buck Hunter Open Season. That's probably the second most played game on this cabinet. I like kind of sticking to the original Big Buck games where, you know, you're kind of hunting, you know, deer and elk and stuff like that. The safari ones are fun to play, but I don't know, there's just something about, you know, just going after the deer and the elk and stuff like that. That's a little more enjoyable than shooting, you know, safari animals. I don't know, just my opinion, but definitely all 4 games are great. But Open Season's probably the most played second game on this cab for me. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys is my Attack from Mars pinball. So with pinball, every time I come to this machine, I'm playing Attack from Mars. That's my most played game on this cabinet. And it's a go-to for almost everybody that turns on this cabinet, whether it's my friends, my family. But probably the most second played title, there's 2 that get played a lot. One of them is Tales of Arabian Nights, but the probably second most played title is Medieval Madness. That's the one that gets played probably the most next to Attack from Mars. And the reason why this is because this is just a really fun table to play. I mean, you got that castle, you know, trying to shoot it in and destroy the castle. You got some great little, you know, missions within the game. Just a great table, and whenever I play pinball, I almost become a little kid, you know, with all the colors and lights going off and the sounds. It's just, you get just an overload of everything that's great about the arcades and everything that's great about pinball. So Attack from Mars definitely being my most played table for sure, but yes, the secondary table that I come to the most is definitely Medieval Madness, and I definitely recommend it to anybody that's never played this game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, just kind of giving a little spotlight to some secondary titles that I consider bringing just as much value as the marquee title on these cabinets. And you know, Arcade1Up, they never really give you filler with their machines. They always give you, you know, A+, B+ games. And you know that whenever you buy a cabinet, you're going to get your money's worth. And I love that about Arcade1Up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, thanks for watching my videos. I always appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. and hope everyone has a great day. Take care.